What's up? What is good? We are here with some new type of content. I reacted to this channel before, but this is Extreme Stories of Revenge That Went Too Far. Part 1 of several. I don't know how many parts, but this is by the channel Be Amazed. We did a couple of their videos now. We did actually a lot, now that I'm thinking about it. But I mean, this is going to be a long video. It's 27 minutes. So add like another 9 to 10 just because of me. So sit back, relax. I mean, if you got a snack, grab a snack. If you smoke, you can't really see it. But we here.
Say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I disagree. From some of the stories I've found on the web, the best revenge is served so hot it's downright nuclear. These aren't tales of funny, passive-aggressive sticky notes or cute
These are
pranks
good
to
as fuck.
teach
Powder
people a
donuts.
lesson. These are stories of life-destroying
I was gonna show the brand, but can't do that. No free promo on this channel.
vengeance and elaborate retribution, from devastating businesses to exposing cheaters in the most damning ways possible. So, grab your popcorn and put on your rad suit, because we're about to look at some tales of nuclear-level revenge.
Let's get it.
Kidney comeback. At some point, everyone with a sibling has found them annoying, but a select few can be downright evil, as a Reddit user by the name of Ryan sadly discovered. Ryan had a twin called Sebastian. As they were growing up,
All I'm gonna say right here, I would never, unless it's my mom. Nobody else is getting my body parts. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't give a fuck who it is. If it ain't my mom, bro, ain't nobody getting that shit. I'm gonna keep it $175,000 with y'all.
Sebastian
If it's my pops, I ain't gonna lie. You gonna have to pay me some bread.
bullied Ryan mercilessly. But because Sebastian was the favorite, their parents turned a blind eye to it all. Sebastian would put Ryan down, blame him for things, and have his friends pick on him. Already, Sebastian sounds like a super douche, but it was about to get much worse. When he was about 18, Ryan realized he was bisexual, but Ryan's parents were strict conservatives, so when he began
There ain't nothing wrong being gay. I mean, it's fucking 2024. You be whatever you want to be. If you want to identify as a powdered donut, as a sugared powdered donut, do it. Just watch out around me, because I might act up.
dating a boy called Daniel, he had to keep it secret. Unfortunately, Sebastian spotted the two holding hands in public, and like the sad little snitch he was, he ran home to tell their parents. Not only were his parents mad, but Sebastian did everything in his power to convince them to kick Ryan out. And he succeeded.
Hey, yo, alright, nah, hold on. At that point, this is going to be a long-ass video now, because, hold on, some of this shit got me fucked up. He my twin, guess what I'm doing? I'm robbing a bank, and then I'm getting the fuck out of the state, getting out of the country. Plot twist, we look alike. Have fun, dickhead.
Homeless and cut off, Ryan was completely ostracized. Now we roll forward about 10 years. Ryan and Daniel are happily married, living a wonderful life, when Ryan gets a call from one of the few family members he's still in contact with. They're at the hospital and don't say much, but ask Ryan to get there as soon as possible. When he arrives, he's greeted by his parents, who, suspiciously, look really pleased to see him, along with his brother.
I know where this is going, and I swear to God, if he gives him the kidney, I'm done.
Was lying in a hospital bed. It turned out, having lived a damagingly excessive lifestyle, Sebastian needed a new kidney urgently.
Damn.
The waiting list for a new kidney was longer than he had left, but Ryan, being his identical twin, would be a perfect match. My
Don't
God.
do it.
After all the hell he put
Don't do
Ryan
it.
through, he just expected him to give him a kidney? Well, Ryan was done being taken advantage of, so he gave the most devastating answer possible. A simple no. Shocked, Sebastian called in their parents, who begged Ryan to reconsider.
I would have walked in there. I would have smiled right at him. Fuck no. or fuck you. Hands down. Listen, you gotta be an asshole sometimes in life. This is one of the times. I don't give a fuck if that's his twin brother. I don't care if that's his parents. You are, listen, if I'm in his situation right now, this is gonna sound fucked up. And I promise I'm not gonna pause it for the rest of this story. If that's both of my parents and they don't kick me out, y'all better be on y'all knees to do something else. That's all I'm saying.
He brutally reminded them of all the times they'd said nothing when
Yup.
Sebastian hurt him. And they'd kicked him out of the house for
And now you
being who he was.
gotta do a little something
It
strange.
was clear they didn't care for any part of him, including his kidney. After that, he simply turned around and left.
Salute.
Wow. I don't think there's enough ice in the world to treat that burn. Hard to stomach. Oh, there is nothing worse than opening the work refrigerator only to discover someone has stolen your lunch. Not even a threatening post-it note can dissuade some of these.
I ain't gonna care. That's why I don't bring lunch when I was working. I don't bring lunch. I never did. I'll just go the whole shift without fucking eating. Cause let somebody eat my shit, bro. I don't play when it comes to my food, man. I don't.
Food thieves. But for all the threats, some sandwich stealers learn the hard way that the lunch owners aren't joking around.
I'm gonna fucking shoot y'all.
Back in 2008, Reddit user Gustavson was working in a call center, and a really crappy call center at that. The rules were super strict, there was no ventilation, and the pay was so bad that many people resorted to stealing little things. This apparently extended to staff lunches as well. It had gotten so bad that people would...
What in the fucking Indian call scam center is this? Scam call center? What the fuck did I say? Call scam center? Whatever. That is some... listen, I don't care. Call me racist, because I know it's more than just Indian people fucking scamming people. But that's the main people, because they still be calling my fucking phone. What kind of shit, what kind of employment is this? To the point the pay is so shit you gotta steal from the fucking job. How are they even running? How is that a functional building? That's definitely a fucking scam center. What is he putting on there? Is that olive oil?
routinely spike some food with laxatives or bad milk to send a message. But not even that stopped the lunch thieves.
What?
That was until one day, Gustavson heard that someone had put a box of food in the fridge with the label, "Do not eat rat poison" inside.
I'm gonna eat it.
Thinking this was a joke, the lunch thief snuck in and gobbled down every last bite. It wasn't until later that afternoon when a woman suddenly collapsed on the ground, suffering from heavy internal bleeding, that they suddenly realized it hadn't been a joke. The unfortunate lunch thief was taken to...
Who the... Listen. I never had rats, I guess. I don't know. I had mouses before. What? What the fuck? Somebody should be charged with murder at that point. What the fuck?
to the hospital and suffered long-term damage to her digestive tract, kidneys, and liver. While the culprit was never identified,
Yeah, who the fuck?
I doubt that lady ever stole another lunch.
What? No shit.
Familial revenge. Ever
It's
been
the
to a
4
big
days
family
coming.
gathering? Man, they can be the worst. Especially...
Can y'all see this? I don't think y'all gonna be able to see this. Yeah, y'all not gonna be able to see that. It's like a little donut bump. Like my donut's like pregnant on the inside. I don't think y'all can see it. Y'all see that? Like that little bump, how it's poking out somewhat? My donut's pregnant.
If you're the butt of all the family jokes, like Reddit user Why Do You Read Names, who I'll call Max for this story, was. Now, one of Max's cousins, Randy, constantly picked on him and embarrassed him in front of everyone at family gatherings.
Oh, I'm gonna
Sadly,
fuck you
the
up.
rest of the family just watched this happen, never once telling Randy to back down or stop, even when he went too far. Randy seemed to have it all. Nice house, nice...
Alright, see, listen, this is gonna be a long ass video than what I thought. This is gonna be a long, cause yo, I don't give a fuck, family or not, bro. I am fucking you up. Me and my brother don't even play around like this, like doing all that weird shit. Like, yeah, bro, what, yo, cousin or not, bro? I'll fucking off you. I don't give a fuck.
Nice. Well,
It's a joke. It's a fucking joke, YouTube. It's a joke. They're just doing dickhead shit.
wife, nice kids, but still, he felt the need to pick on Max.
Why?
Pretty sad for a grown man, don't you think? And so one day, when Max saw Randy in the street with his arms around a woman who definitely wasn't his wife,
Ooh.
Max decided to get a better look
He's
with
cheating.
his camera. He took out his phone and got several pictures of the couple holding hands,
Hey, yo, y'all see the video I put up yesterday? My fucking phone camera look clean now. Shit.
hugging, smooching, tongues and all. Then he had all the photos printed out and waited patiently for the next inevitable family gathering.
What?
With everyone around the dinner table, Randy was about to start bullying Max again when suddenly Max dropped all the photos onto the table.
Oh.
The entire family, including Randy's wife and kids, slowly realized what they were looking at. And then all hell broke loose. There was screaming, fighting, crying, and Max was kicked out. But it was Randy who ended up paying the ultimate price. In the months that followed, Randy's wife divorced his ass. He lost custody of the kids, and just to add a cherry on top of this revenge Sunday, Max got married. Well, something tells me Randy wasn't invited.
Plot twist, he got married to Randy's wife. Yeah, he got married to Randy's wife, unless the girl was the cousin? No, Randy was the cousin. Randy was the cousin. No, somebody married somebody's wife. That's all I know.
Car Wars. Revenge of the...
The
Being
wank.
a single parent is hard, no doubt about it. But when you're also on a limited income, things like rent and bills can really restrict your options.
That's true.
As Reddit user Galera1 will tell you. They were renting a small, old, drafty apartment. They were quite content and had no complaints until their nightmare neighbor moved in.
Oh,
A
God.
car he treated like his baby, which
Baby.
he'd made multiple modifications to. So many, the engine needed time to warm up.
I ain't gonna lie, that already sounds like my brother. And let me tell you, when I tell him nobody wants to hear that loud ass fucking Honda when he's trying to start that bullshit, I can see why his neighbors hate him. No cap, I can see why his neighbors hate him. I'm surprised the whole block don't hate him for that shit.
And so, for 10 to 15 minutes every day, he'd let it run, releasing mega plumes of thick, nasty exhaust fumes. Now, Galera wouldn't have had an issue with this, but this guy was assigned a parking space right outside their 4-year-old's bedroom, and the fumes were making the kid feel sick.
That's fucked.
So, one day, Galera kindly asked if he could warm the car up somewhere else in the lot. At this, the driver went berserk, screaming at Galera, telling them he didn't care about the kid, and that...
Alright, now I'm being serious. Let me confront somebody like that, and I politely be like, yo, can you move your car, because that shit making my kid, like, the smoking shit getting in his window. Oh, I don't give a fuck about your kid, I don't give a... Just know, the Eddie Sire channel I would not be uploading for, like, probably, like, the next 5 to 15 years, depending how bad I do something. Cause that's the one thing I don't play when it comes to like kids for real, bro. That's weak as fuck. Like nobody care about you and your dumbass car. All you doing is attracting men. Women don't care about cars. Sorry to break it to y'all.
he wasn't going to move it. Shocked, Galera left. They knew an
Shocked.
official complaint wouldn't go anywhere,
Would've been
and they
fucking
didn't
irate.
have the funds to move. So they began plotting on a budget. The next day, they bought a squeezy bottle of Gatorade and broke a couple of eggs into it. Then they happened across some fresh dog doo-doo, which they added in, and left the concoction out in the sun for a few days to mature. Finally, in the early hours of the morning, on a day that promised to be scorching hot, Galera took the Satan's soup and snuck up to the car. Now, the car was old enough to have those little triangle vent windows, which the
Oh,
driver had left open. And so, Galera sprayed the contents of the bottle into the car, coating everything the vile liquid would reach. They then tossed the empty bottle, snuck back inside, and went to sleep. A few hours later, they were awoken by the sweet, harmonious cries of, "What the?" When Galera looked out, the driver was gagging next to his car, trying desperately to figure out where in his car the vomit-inducing smell was coming from. He grabbed a bucket of soap and water and began scrubbing.
oh, I ain't gonna lie. Now, if I'm the car driver, that's the first motherfucker I'm looking at. Bro, I know you did this. You're the first person. You're the only person that confronted me about my car. At that point, I don't know, just like stick your finger in his ass or something. I don't fucking know.
Rubbing the seats hard, and soon people began to gather around. Realizing there was no way to stop the stench, he grabbed a wrench and removed both the driver and passenger seats before heaving them into a dumpster. By now, a crowd of at least 30 people were stood staring and laughing, and in front of all of them, he then got in the car without a seat and drove away. Galera never saw the car again. Now that is how you put your revenge in gear.
I ain't gonna lie, he kind of dirty though, cause I'm not touching no random dog shit. You know what I mean? Obviously, I gotta pick up, like when my dog shits, I gotta pick it up. But some random dog shit, yeah, nah, I'm dirty. That's some dirty shit. I ain't even gonna cap.
IR sucks to be you. If you want to hit a business where it really hurts, you call in the tax man to take a punt. Back in the early 2000s, fresh out of college, a Redditor called Fancy Cat 11 started a new job at a small drafting and design firm. While the pay seemed good, she soon realized she was also being used as the receptionist, office manager, file clerk, and even janitor. But despite being obviously
How the fuck?
overworked, she got on with it and never complained. However, just as the year's tax return
She got that. Excuse me. She got that. I'm calling HR real quick. Yo, they got me working 4 different fucking things. How the fuck am I the office manager and the janitor? And I'm supposed to prep the office in the morning and make sure that shit clean before I leave. Y'all, yeah, y'all got me fucked up. Let alone I gotta clean the whole place. Y'all got me fucked up.
returns were due, her boss asked her to request a tax deadline extension for herself. He had a reasonable excuse, so she obliged. But when she asked him for an update a few weeks later, he asked her to request another deadline extension. Now, this was fishy. So fishy that Fancy went through the tax records herself and found the paperwork. It was all done, he just didn't want to sign off on it, so he could keep all her tax money in his account while making it look like she was the one failing to pay. Well, Fancy wasn't having any of this. So on Monday morning, she dropped her resignation letter on his desk and then proceeded to walk straight into the offices of the Internal Revenue Service.
I ain't gonna lie, nobody scares me more than the IRS. Y'all ever see that one Batman clip? Even the Joker is fucking scared of the IRS, bro. Yo, you do not fuck with the IRS. They are legit the fucking boogeyman. They will get you. They will get your ass.
Also known as the IRS.
Better pay them
She
taxes.
gave them all the evidence she had against the guy, and it turned out, despite taking a tax cut from her pay, he'd never paid any taxes to the IRS under that business name.
Whoa.
Oh, the IRS were not happy. But Fancy wasn't done there. She then proceeded to ring all his long-standing business partners, informing them that the IRS was about to go to town on his company, and that they might want to steer clear. After all, they didn't want the tax man investigating them by association, did they? After the IRS investigated the matter thoroughly, much to the dismay of the boss, the business started to fail. Hard. Whenever Fancy walked past, she noticed the entire office looked dirty
Damn.
and empty. A year later, it was closed for good. Moral of this story, Don't screw your employees over, and always pay your taxes.
I literally just said that. Pay your fucking taxes. Because the IRS will get you. And they will bend you over. And fuck you with their IRS.
Tired of it. Don't you hate when someone parks in your spot? It's so annoying. Even more so in bad weather, as Reddit user Meltdown knows all too well. His girlfriend was coming over one snowy night, so he went down to the parking lot.
Oh, we believe in this? I don't believe motherfuckers that be on Reddit. If you actually post shit on Reddit, it's hard for me to believe you have a girlfriend. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a Reddit. I never posted anything. I just go in there to look at shit. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. He's probably waiting for his mom or something, though. That's cute. Cute cover-up, Mr. Reddit.
And spent an hour digging out a parking space specifically for her. He then left a little sign asking others not to park there as he dug it out by hand. But people are douchebags, and in a matter of minutes, some selfish driver had thrown the sign away and taken the spot.
And then that same driver would have came outside tomorrow, and he would have saw all his shit flat with a sign, with the same sign right on top of his car.
Cold and angry, Meltdown aptly had a meltdown. His girlfriend found another place to park and fell asleep in his apartment. And once she did, he grabbed a bottle of flammable liquid, crept down to the car, and proceeded to set all 4 tires on fire.
So you committed arson. Somebody lock this man up. Somebody lock this man up. This man is a threat. He don't have a girlfriend. He's probably holding somebody hostage. Somebody lock this man up.
Before slinking back upstairs. Within minutes, he could hear the noise of the tires bursting and exploding. The next morning, Meltdown took out the trash and surveyed the damage. And boy, was it ugly. While the overall structure was fine, the driver would need 4 new tires and a lot of cosmetic work to restore the car.
He could low-key get sued for that, because he fucking admitted it. Like, that's kind of, I ain't gonna lie, why do people feel so confident admitting something? Like the government just can't find out where the fuck you posted that shit from. Like, bro, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, send this man to jail.
Now that is what you call a full meltdown. Bug off.
Oh, no.
Kids can be the worst. They scream, they cry, they throw rocks at you. Or
They ask you stupid ass questions when it got nothing to do with their existence at the time. Like, you could just be sitting down somewhere and then, like, eating like a chocolate bar. A kid would just walk up to you and be like, "What is that? What? Why the fuck do you care? Where's your parents? Like, get out of here before, like, I don't know, like, before I, like, flick your forehead and I don't fucking know."
at least they threw rocks at Reddit user Frumpy Fungus. At around the age of 11, he was looking after his little brother one Saturday afternoon when 2 kids knocked on his door, asking if he'd come out to play. He said no, but they kept ringing the bell. And when he didn't respond, they decided to throw rocks at his house. Typical kid logic. This kept happening for 2 more weeks.
Hey,
and when they cracked one of the windows on his house, Frumpy finally had it.
See, you can't do that where I'm from. That's how you get your ass beat. I ain't gonna cap. Take this how you want to. This is definitely some white people shit. Like, it is what it is, bro.
Enough.
I used to throw rocks when I was a kid, but we used to, like, throw them at, like, each other. It used to be called Rock Wars. Yeah, I don't know. We was fucking... Listen, we didn't have shit to do back then.
Little did these kids know, Frumpy was an avid ant farmer.
Oh,
and
no.
had a small nest of fire ants.
Oh, no.
Yeah, as the name suggests, the bites from these things are incredibly spicy. So, Frumpy took the little glass farm over to the patch of rocks the kids usually used, and dumped the ants all over them. Later that day, right on cue, he could hear the crack of rocks hitting the side of the house. But suddenly, the cracking stopped, and was replaced by the crying of a few dumb kids. The ants were all over them. They ran back home like the babies they were. But they weren't done there. Instead of throwing rocks, the kids resorted to stealing toys out of Frumpy's yard. Unlucky for them, Frumpy owned more bugs and had the smarts to set up a trap.
What the
He
fuck?
filled an old book bag with Legos, dolls, all sorts of toys, and left it in his yard. Sure enough, a few hours later, it was gone. What the thieves didn't know was that Frumpy had dumped his entire termite farm in there as well.
This man is a fucking menace to society. Somebody stop him. Somebody stop him. I do not like bugs. I'm sorry. I do not like bugs. I cannot stand them. Well, some of them. Like, roly-polies and shit, they cool. Like, I mean, but like termites and shit, like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I only seen them things in like cartoons. I don't want to see that shit.
A few weeks later, and the kid's house was under a big old quarantine tent. I don't know if you've ever had to call the exterminators, but fumigating an entire house like this can cost thousands of dollars. Oh boy, I bet their parents were furious.
Throw this man in jail too, just for making the parents spend money. Like, bro, it's not the. I mean, kind of is the parents' fault, but they don't know what the kid is doing outside, man. Come on, how you going? What if somebody? I mean, they did fuck up his house, but they only broke a window. How you go from a window break to, motherfucker, your house is quarantined?
Well, sometimes revenge smells sweet, but other times it smells like chemical fumes wafting down the street.
That's fucked up.
Bad eggs. While kids can be bad, teenagers can be so much more annoying. For proof, we need only look at Reddit user Alaska Guy Indic's story. The teens in his neighborhood thought, with their adorably underdeveloped brains, that it would be really funny to repeatedly egg all the houses in the middle of winter. In the minus 15 degree Fahrenheit weather,
Why?
the egg would freeze solid, and it'd be almost impossible to get off until spring. Sick of scraping eggs off the side of his house, Alaska Guy came up with a plan.
Yo, I'm not even going cap. That's fucking smart. That's like top tier trolling. That's that low key top tier trolling. I'm not even going cap. Like, you're gonna is it gonna smell because it's frozen and then it's gonna thaw out? So I mean, is it really gonna stink? Well, yeah, man, cause it's technically cracked, is it not? Yo, this is like a serious ass question. Would the egg rot? Would it technically rot, or would it just be a normal egg still? That's a dead ass question.
He and his brother would layer up and wait on the roof of the house until the teens inevitably came round again.
Some sniper
Only
shit.
this time, they'd have paintball guns,
Oh,
so they'd get a taste of their own medicine. And just as they expected, the teens rolled up and were about to start yeeting eggs when
Fuck.
Alaska Guy and his bro began firing. The teens ducked and dodged, but suddenly they were screaming and started running for their truck. Then, as they were hightailing it out of there, the rear window of their truck suddenly smashed. It wasn't until Alaska Guy was back inside that he realized the paintballs had frozen solid in their hoppers, so they'd been pelting the teens with balls as hard as rocks. Luckily, the police never came knocking, and unsurprisingly, the eager eggers never returned to that.
I mean, that's the thing though. They can't really call the cops because what they're gonna say? Oh, we was on our way to egg this guy's house. Like, ain't that technically like damaging property or some shit like that? Pretty sure that's like a crime. If not, it should be.
Neighborhood. Serving attitude. Working as a food server is one of the most thankless jobs out there.
Yeah.
The pay is bad, the hours are long, and the customers are rude. No wonder most can't wait till closing time. However, back in 2010, a Reddit user by the name of SpangyPH was closing up the pizzeria he was managing with
Spaghetti.
his team when, all of a sudden, he heard yelling and crying from the front of the shop. A group of men had barged in, demanding to be served. And when the young serving
Ima- Imagine just busting into a fucking pizza shop. Hey, I demand the pizza. You give me the pizza. It's a me, Mario. Like, it's not racist. Did my phone just? think my phone froze or some shit. I don't know. Oh, well, I'll figure it out.
Girl at the front told them that they were closed, they screamed at her. Spangy came out, and despite telling them that, yes, they were closed, they claimed the customer was always right and refused to leave until they were served. Ooh.
Plot twist, I think my phone's just restarting because of an update. I don't know. I'm scared.
Big Karen energy there. Tired and annoyed, Spangy told the staff to fire the ovens back up before taking the girl aside and comforting her. Then they got to making the food, with a few extra special ingredients. One of the staff reached into the grease trap and smeared a handful of nasty, filthy black grease onto the dough.
He could be fired.
The others started
And in jail.
spitting, snotting, and even sprinkling a few downstairs hairs on there for good measure. Then they smothered it with a layer of tomato sauce, toppings, and served it to the rude crew like nothing was wrong. The team watched as the pathetic patrons smiled, thinking they'd won, while they guzzled down every last bite. Ugh. So, remember, if you like food free of filth,
I ain't gonna lie. That's why you don't. That's why, listen, you don't talk shit to people that's making your food, because they could do shit like that. That just low-key made me sick to my stomach.
don't be rude to the people serving it to you. The real tank girl. There are a lot of badass women in history, but for me, the baddest of them all has to be Maria Oktyabrskaya. Back in 1941, in the thick of World War II, fascist Germany betrayed the Soviet Union. Breaking a treaty of non-aggression, Germany attacked the Soviet city of Kiev, killing thousands of Soviet soldiers, one of which was Ilya Oktyabrinsky,
Who?
Maria's husband. This news would be enough to send most people into a breakdown, but not Mariah. Oh no, she was going to break even. Grieving and enraged, Mariah sold everything she owned and used the money to buy a T-32 tank. But instead of donating the tank to the army,
What?
she sent a letter to the top man in charge, Joseph Stalin, explaining she wanted to pilot the tank to take revenge. Stalin was so impressed by her gusto, he gave her the go-ahead, and even...
What the fuck? No, see, that's a legit. She a ride or die. I'm gonna keep it 100. She ride or die, yo. She ride or die. No cap. She is ride or die, legitimately, yo. Yo, no cap. That's a bad bitch. No cap. That's a bad bitch.
granted her request that the tank be called Fighting Girlfriend. After 5 months of training as a tank driver, mechanic, Mariah was ready. But she was ridiculed by her comrades and seen as something of a joke. However, this just fueled Mariah's need for revenge even further. So much so that in her very first tank battle in 1943, Fighting Girlfriend was the first tank to breach enemy lines. She lay waste to a German artillery gun and mowed down more than 50 enemy soldiers in her way.
What the
And
fuck?
she was just getting started. Her slaughtering spree lasted for just over a year, when, just like her husband, she was killed in battle. But by that
Salute to the baddest bitch that probably ever lived. No cap. No cap.
point, she'd gotten her revenge,
She said, fuck your feminism with that one.
and made the fascists regret ever messing with a Soviet woman. Burning bush. Doing work for a family member sometimes means they'll ask for the famous family discount.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference between a discount and refusing to pay, as Reddit user Os Necromancer discovered.
What?
He'd done 4 weeks of back-breaking yard work for his auntie, who'd
With a name like that, throw his ass in jail too.
promised to pay him some $200 a week. However, when he went to collect, his auntie said she was using the full family discount and straight up refused to pay him.
Hey,
What
yo.
was he gonna do? Take back the work he'd done? She clearly thought she'd won. That was until, at midnight that night, she woke up to find her entire garden had been set on fire.
Damn.
While she couldn't prove it was Os Necromancer, she knew. And he knew. Guess you could call that the scorched earth tactic. Trick or cheat.
Ooh,
There's nothing that breaks your heart quite like being cheated.
I ain't gonna lie, that one was kind of sexy. He was like, trick or cheat. Like, hey, he about to make me act up.
Cheated on. Trust me, I know. But luckily, stories of cheaters getting their just desserts helps fill the void more than ice cream and chick flicks. And one such story that really hits the spot was left by a throwaway Reddit account, who I'll refer to as Elon. Elon was on social
Elon Musk.
media one day when he realized he'd stumbled onto the secret account of his best friend's wife. She was flirting with one of the other friends, and it was pretty obvious they'd been, getting busy together, if you catch my drift. Elon immediately
I'm gonna say it since he's family friendly, probably. What he meant to say was they was fucking. Yo, he was digging all up in her fucking guts. He was knocking ankles the fuck loose. That's what he wanted to say.
told his best friend, who I'll call Jeff, and naturally, the guy was crushed. After stewing on the information for a few weeks, he asked Elon not to say a word about what he knew.
Why?
Elon promised he wouldn't. And from then on, every time he saw Jeff and his wife, the couple seemed perfectly happy and like nothing was wrong. But 9 months later, it all changed. Out of the blue, Jeff revealed he had a gambling addiction.
Oh.
He'd lost everything. He'd sold their cars and leased new ones, losing all the money to gambling.
Hey, as somebody who gambles on sports from time to time, hey, fucking, don't be like this guy on some real shit. This is a random PSA. Don't be like Jeff, man. Don't be like Jeff. That man risked it all for a pudding pop. No Bill Cosby.
All of their savings, 401 retirement earnings, every last
That was not what he was supposed to do. Why the fuck he bend over like Bill Cosby really got him?
penny was gone. She immediately filed for divorce. No alimony was owed, and so the entire thing was finalized without him ever
That's fucking smart. That's fucking smart, Jeff. You're a smart man.
mentioning her cheating. And because all the money was gone, all she was able to claim were some bits of furniture, along with a few pots and pans. Little did she know, however, Jeff's gambling addiction was a complete fabrication. Yeah, he'd stashed all the cash in secret accounts, made up the lie, and because she assumed the money was just gone, he got her to leave without giving her a cent. Oh man. Some might call that sneaky, but I call it the cheater tax.
No, I call that the motherfucking high IQ play.
Getting the itch. Because I'm clearly still very bitter about being cheated on, it's time to reveal a story of God-tier cheater revenge, enacted by a Reddit user I'll call Dose, from more than 15 years ago. Dose married his childhood sweetheart.
Aw.
And while he went on to pursue a master's in engineering, she was finishing a doctorate in anthropology.
All right.
Over the summer, she was given the opportunity to earn some extra money as an aide on a 6-week trip to Jamaica.
Oh.
And while Dose knew he'd miss her, he supported
Oh. And they doing what? Nani-san. She was getting that Jamaican pipe real quick.
her completely and went as far as to do extra work while she was away to financially match what she was making. But after the trip, one of the other students told Dose that his wife and their professor had been hooking up all over the island. At first, Dose didn't believe this. He'd met the professor. Heck, he'd invited him into their home for barbecue and beers. But one evening,
That's why he was trying to wine and dine your wife. And you let it happen.
he broke down and checked her emails. Not only were they sleeping together in his bed, but they were mocking Dose in email after email for not knowing about it. Dose was crushed. For several weeks, he said nothing, and soon began noticing that studying late was clearly code for being with the professor.
Hey, yo.
He felt so stupid. But then he decided to do something about it. Now, one thing he and his wife did do was make their own personal lubricant, which they seasoned with devil's lettuce, if you know what I mean. Figuring his
Wait, you could make fucking weed lubricant? Hey, wait. Whoa. Wait, whoa. Would that shit make it feel good and get you high at the same time? What the fuck is going on here? Yo, he is... Fuck him being stupid. Yo, this man is a genius.
His wife and the professor were making liberal use of the lube. He decided to season a new batch with a little extra something. Poison ivy. A few days later, she'd left for a late-night study group. When she got back and hit up the shower, Dose changed the contact information in her phone, swapping his name for the professor's. The next morning, she thought she was texting the professor, but it was Dose that received a message reading, "I'm super itchy. Are you okay?" Dose, who was downstairs making breakfast, replied as the professor, "I'm sorry, but I've got herpes, and I guess you do now too." He then continued that he was interested in a new, younger assistant of his.
At this point, I'm starting to think, is this even real? Because this is like too smart to be true.
So they needed to break it off. Suddenly, she stormed downstairs and angrily started eating breakfast before making an excuse and dashing out the door. Dose took this opportunity to open her laptop, delete her entire thesis, then slyly follow her. She ended up, to no one's surprise, at the professor's office, where she stormed in and demanded to see him that instant. When Dose entered his office, she was crying and screaming at the professor in front of all his staff for giving her herpes. Ooh, I bet that professor was as confused as he was embarrassed. But this was only the beginning of the fallout. Obviously, Dose filed for divorce, getting the majority of the assets thanks to his ex-wife's very public admittance to being unfaithful. The professor was kicked out of the university for breaking the code of conduct and could never find a job beyond teaching in a high school. Oh, and the ex-wife never got her doctorate, though she did get well and truly schooled in the art of revenge. Which of these revenge stories do you
Nah, yo, that's some like movie CIA type shit. I'm not even going cat. But on that note, I'm out. This was a long video. I will see y'all tomorrow. Yep, that's all I gotta say as I slowly slide my mouse over here and the video's over. I lied.